This is what I liked. I went on the tour solo with guide Thompson and driver Jeff. They were both perfectly nice and asked often whether I'm okay. The driving was good and safe, they dealt well with the numerous security checkpoints. Nana seems like a great guy. I got the impression that he's very professional, friendly and customer-oriented. It was a good experience with a few exciting moments and I got some great pictures. The Wli Waterfalls was absolutely stunning and worth visiting. Climbing the Afadjato mountain was epic and the view from the top extremely rewarding. The guide for the mountain hike was fantastic. Things that can be improved. I had very high expectations from all the great reviews and I'm usually very careful when selecting tours. There were still quite a lot of things that disappointed me in this tour. Monkey Sanctuary. There were just 2 locations where the monkeys came up to us and I fed them bananas. The whole thing lasted not even 15 minutes. I didn't really learn much about the monkeys. Maybe it was just our guide or the fact that it had been raining. There was no history of the sanctuary or tour, we didn't walk through the reserve, nothing. Very bad and anticlimactic given that it took hours to drive to that place. The driving was okay, but eventually got really tedious and boring because unlike other tours I did in Africa, there was not much engaging storytelling during the drive or interesting information about the areas we were driving through. You spend a lot of time in the car on this tour, maybe 10 to 12 hours. And unfortunately it was the same for the rest of the tour. There was some small talk in the beginning. But it didn't make me feel like they had abundant knowledge about the places and attractions we saw or a genuine passion to share as much as possible of their culture. I know being a tour guide is hard, you need a lot of people skills, knowledge and a lot of energy. But that's what I expected based on the reviews. Instead, during most of the tour, the driver and guide were talking to each other in their own language, and not just a few times. That's just incredibly rude and made me feel like I was just along for the ride or not even there. In addition, they spent so much time on their phones, on Zoom meeting or doing their own stuff. Made me feel like they had better things to do than doing an actual private tour. I never experienced something like this before on a tour in that price range. I was ready at 6:30 a.m. to be picked up but I was waiting for more than half an hour until they finally arrived. Not the end of the world but many small things like this give you a sense of the customer not coming first. The accommodation we stayed at was okay, the aircon was not working, ants, no electricity after it started raining, no free Wi-Fi, I had Vodafone and no reception or mobile data in the Volta region, so be prepared for that. Conclusion. The tour was okay, but very far from an immersive once-in-a-lifetime experience. I won't recommend this particular tour to my colleagues. I expect a lot more for a premium price of $400. You can easily replicate most of this experience by yourself by getting your own driver and visiting the places by yourself for a much cheaper price, because they have their own guides there anyway. I hope they can improve this tour in the future because I'm sure freelance Nana travels have a higher standard than this. Next time I'm in Ghana I would consider to book a tour with Nana himself, you just feel he has the personality and energy to be an outstanding tour guide.